want this. Well, today I'm going to be going in depth into how I made it and how you can make one too. So let's get straight into it. Alright, so I'm in the Blender project file of the edit. You're not going to see any of the other cars here because each car has its own Blender file, just because of the way I did it. Basically what I did here is I downloaded the car from Sketchfab. I did not make any of the cars in the edit. All of the links to their Sketchfab page is in the description of the actual edit video. So I downloaded the car, put it in, and I got an HDRI here from Blender Kit. I can tell you how to get this later. And I put it here to get the earth in the background. And then, okay, I'm just going to switch to Eevee for now so it's faster. So then we have 4 different camera angles here for the car for each cinematic. So as you can see, this is the first one here. The camera moves, and then this is the second camera angle switches to this camera over here to the back wing, and then this moves slowly. Then it switches to the interior camera, which is this one right here, and then it goes to the camera focused on the Mercedes badge here. See, I animated these. I did edit the curve graph a little bit because like Blender does an S curve by default, so I just like try to change it to a straight curve because like for cinematics they're going at a consistent speed. So it's like kind of just like pointed the handle like downward into the line here. I can tell you how to like get this open later. I'll tell you how to do all that. And yeah, as you can see for the first shot too, I animated the wheel to like spin a little bit just to like make it seem that there's like no gravity. Kind of gives it kind of like an effect to make it seem like it's actually in space. And then for rendering, I rendered it in 4:3. You can even go like slimmer than that because like if you look at the other edits in this trend, you can, I think, album cover aspect ratio, but yeah, I did 1600 by 1200, which is 4:3. Yeah, and I rendered it for 15 seconds each frame on cycles. This is cycles here, so yeah. And then this is the Porsche file. Here I did like pretty much the exact same thing, except, hold on, let's just let it load. I pretty much did the exact same thing except the HDRI, or the background is different, camera angles are different, car is different, you know. Again, all of them are on 1600 by 1200. Okay, and this is the Koenigsegg file here. The way I did this one is like the worst way I possibly did it. It just took so much time and it was so hard because like the way I did it is I got an earth model and then put it in, and I just moved the car like really far away from it, and it just like this worked, but it looks like worse in my opinion, and like it's just way harder and it gets so confusing. So I would not recommend doing it this way. And also just the car's pink because like the texture files for it disappeared somewhere out. I don't know where they went. But yeah, these are all the camera angles here. So it goes to this front one here, then the back one here, then to the back wheel, and then it switches to the mirror, the left hand mirror, and then you go to this angle, kind of like an over top angle here, and then like over top of the earth I do like have an HDRI here in the back. It's literally just stars and that's it. And then the last one here is the BMW. Again, I did this one similar, but it's not like as bad because it like still looks good. So, and it's just like extremely difficult to like find the car. This is why I don't recommend doing. I would just do it the way I did it in the other one, the one I recommended. Okay, so I found the car. So yeah, basically here we have the car. We have like 4 camera angles again, and then we have like a space station in the background. That's also from Sketchfab. I just placed it really far away. Then we have some like lighting over there. That's a light, like this like circular thing with like the dot in the middle. There's light. There's a light there so you can actually see the space station, and then there's a light somewhere here, like right there, to like shine on the car to see it. Again, like you wouldn't even have to do that if you like just use the HDRI, which is the way I recommended earlier. So first camera angles is over here. Second one is on the wheel, right there. Third one is on the mirror. Fourth one is to the back. Also here, I did make a mistake where it's like way too dark here, like around here, except for like the BMW logo. It just looks kind of unrealistic. Like I should have maybe put like a light there, but like I didn't really notice it. So yeah, that's pretty much all the Blender files for the edit. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually like go in depth and tell you how to actually like make one of these. So you can just go ahead and delete the cube. Alright, so I just downloaded this car from Sketchfab. I'll leave a link to the car in the description. So next thing you want to do is you want to get Blender Kit. If you don't know how to do it, I'm going to tell you how to get it. So what you can do, you can just go in your browser, search up Blender Kit plugin. You click download Blender Kit, it'll download. Right then after you install it, you're gonna go to edit and then preferences, and then you're gonna click this drop down menu, install from disk, and you go to wherever it downloaded. With me it's the downloads folder because I got it from the browser. If your downloads folder is full, you can just search up Blender Kit and it's there. Click this, install from disk, and then it should be in here. And then you make sure it's checked, it should be up here. And if not, maybe restart Blender. Anyways, so if you don't have like the premium version of like the Blender Kit like me, like I don't either, you're gonna click on this button. You're gonna select free first, and you're gonna go over here and then click on HDRs, and you can search up space or earth, and then you can find some good ones like here. This is the one I actually used. I think I used this one too. I didn't use this one though. If you find any other good ones, you can use that. If you find someone online, you can use that too. So when you find one you like, you can just drag and drop it in there. I like to go to highest resolution, and then when you go to the rendered view up here, you should be able to see your HDR here, and you should have the planet in the background and everything. So now that we have our project file set up, we can actually like get into making the edit. Since the planet is like back here facing this way, I'm just gonna like rotate the car and just select all of it. I'm just gonna rotate it to face, I don't know why it's rotating like that. You're gonna make it face the planet, so like when we have like our camera, you can see that, you'll be able to see the planet. And then what I'm gonna do is delete this, and then it kind of gives you a more realistic lighting, because like now all the light is coming from like the sun here, and it's shining onto the car. And then also what you might see me doing is like you can angle the car like this, make it look more like it's actually in space. So now what we can do is we can start animating the camera. So we can find our camera, it's like up there somewhere, it's right here. If we go into if you can find, there's like a little arrow to the side. I might have to replay that because I clicked on it way too fast in the editing. But you can click that, you go to view, you can lock the camera to view, and then what you want to do is you can hold shift and press, I don't even know what the key is called, I'm just gonna like show what key it is on screen. You're gonna hold shift, and then press the button, and then you can move around with the mouse, and you can move around with WASD. It'll just be easier to like get the perfect angle for the camera on the car. Here you can press Q and E to move up and down, and you can see, if you can see, you have like a little black crosshair in there that's going to be important. So, and you can like scroll up and down to like increase and decrease the speed. So first angle I'm going to do is I'm just going to like focus on like the, what's it called, the badge here. You can see like I'm aiming the crosshair at it here. So we are on frame 1 right now. So just to make sure our camera is gonna be like, and then what you're gonna do is to make a keyframe for the camera, make sure the camera is selected, and then you can press I, and then it'll make a keyframe here for all the values. And then I like to go, also I forgot, make sure you're on 30 FPS. Make sure you change this to 30 FPS. You just go to output and then change the frame rate to 30 or 60 depending on what you like, but I like to do 30. So like I like to go like 60 frames forward here, and then you can do is like make the acceleration like pretty slow, move to like the right or left a little bit, and you can like still aim at the camera, not the camera, aim at the badge here, boom. And then you press I again while hovering your mouse in the viewport, and then you make another keyframe, and you can see the camera is like focused on the badge, and then it like moves, and it makes like a cinematic. It's like the speed isn't consistent, like in the middle it goes really fast, and at the ends it goes like really slow. That's because Blender by default for keyframes does a S curve, and we want like a consistent speed, so we're gonna like have to edit the curves of the keyframes. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna like go in the top right corner, when your mouse turns into like the crosshair thing, you just click and hold, you position it up here, and then let go. Then here you have like another kind of like instance of Blender within Blender. You're gonna click up here and then change this to graph editor, and then you're gonna click normalize, and then these are our curves for these two keyframes right here. So for each like corner here, like this one, and this one, you're gonna like move the handle to be like aimed into the line here to make it like really sharp, and you're just gonna do that, and you're just gonna click it again because there's like multiple curves within like the same curve here. You're just gonna click it again to see if there's any more. You just do the same thing, If you keep clicking it and there's no more, that means you're good for that one. You can go into the bottom one here, move this up, click again, move this up. That one's done. Click this, move it up, click again, move it up, and then last one here, click this, move it down, I guess now, because we're on the top, and then click again, and then move it down. And now the speed for the camera moving should be consistent. So if we just start playing it, that looks pretty good. So now the way to like make a cut, oh yeah, and by the way, you can choose whatever resolution you want this to be. I'm just gonna do like 1600 by 1200 again. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a cut here and then switch to a different angle. And the way you do that is basically you wanna select your default camera, go to the first frame, and then select Control B. And like what Control B does, you see this little line here. You can place like you can place this anywhere on the timeline. Like this line here indicates that like this camera right here is like dominant and like what's showing, if that makes sense. And like when you see that like this camera, well, let me select it. When you see that this camera has like a filled in triangle here, that means it's also dominant right now. So and then to make a cut, you're gonna click add another camera. You can go, you're gonna select, and since our keyframe ends at frame 60, like on frame 60 or like 61, doesn't matter, you can go to frame 60, select the second camera, and you click Control B. You have to be hovered in the timeline here and then click Control B. That's why that thing just happened. So now as you can see, if we just play this here, when it reaches this, it's going to switch to this camera, but like you can't see the car because it's not aimed at it. So we can just go into this camera, make sure this is checked again, hold shift and press the weird button above tab, and you can do the same thing again and go to a different camera angle. I'm just gonna do like the wheel of the car here. Gonna like aim at the directly at the center here. Okay, boom. And then put your mouse in the viewport, press I, then you go 60 frames forwards. If you're on 60 FPS, then that means you go like 120 FPS forward if you want the same duration, because that's like double the speed. So at least I think I'm right. Yeah, that's right. Anyways, place the keyframe here, go 60 frames forward. You can move to the side. Oh crap, it was too fast. Scroll down to decrease the speed. I like to, if you can see at the bottom, you can see the speed. I like going like 0.10 there for good control. Move to the left a little bit, make sure it's looking at the wheel, the center of the wheel, and then put another keyframe there, and there we go. Now we just need to do the curve edit graph again. Down, put this down, put this up, put this up, put this up, put this up, put this up. Oh yeah, and I forgot one. Put this down, and then put this down, and then put this down, and there you go. So now we have a good consistent speed here. And also I like to make sure that like you're turning the camera like the same direction, because like it kind of looks like it just like kind of like transitions into the next one, as you can see there. I think that looks good. And then we're gonna do this like at least 2 more times. So we're gonna go to add another camera, and then on frame 120, because this is where our last keyframe was, you're gonna position this thing here, and then select this camera, press Control over in here, press Control B, and now it's gonna switch to this camera after the animation on the previous cameras is done. So after this is done, it's gonna switch to this. And I already explained that, but like, you know, so you can again shift and the weird button above tab. We can do our next angle here. I might do the cockpit now. And if you're also doing the cockpit and there's like no light in here, I'm just gonna like quickly like put a little like weak one in there. So you can just go add light. I think point looks good, like looks there, yeah. Then you can just put this in here. You can make it like weaker or stronger. If you select the light and then click this button here, you can change the power and make it weaker or stronger. You can change the color of it and change like the color. I'm just gonna like put it towards the sun there, because then it makes sense, because then the light's coming from there. Alright, and now I'm just gonna focus the camera on the steering wheel. And we go to frame 120, hover in the viewport, press I, let out a keyframe, go 60 frames forward. Then you go to 60 frames forward. You can move the camera to for me it's right. Have I been saying moving the camera to the left and then moving it right? I don't know, but like I've been moving it right the whole time, so we're gonna move it right a little bit, make sure it's still focused on the steering wheel, and then we press I again to make a keyframe. Yeah, if this happens, that means like 2 keyframes are the same, so you can just go to one, I'm just gonna go to this one and move it back, and then yeah, if this happens, that means like these two keyframes are the same and it's not working. So I'm just gonna like go to this one over here. I'm just gonna turn on auto hotkey for a second, and then not auto hotkey, auto keyframe, and then we move to the right, and then we can click there. Yeah, if this happens, like that means these two keyframes are the same. We're gonna delete this, and then oh yeah, make sure you're selected on the camera. I was animating the light and I didn't even notice. So make sure you're selected on the camera. I made a keyframe here already, so I'm just gonna make another one here, and then over here, yeah, for over here, I'm gonna make it start like this. Make it start at this angle. You know, I'm just gonna restart the keyframes. Keyframe here, and then keyframe 60 frames later over here. Oh yeah, wait, no, before you do that, move the camera a little bit. You can press I, and there we go. Now I have to do the curving again. Yeah, you can just bring this out, put this down, put this up, put this up, put this up again, put this up again, put this up again, and then go here, put this down again, put this down again, put this down again. Okay, and then okay, so we're done the curve now, our curve graph now. So now we have like 3 camera angles. I think this looks pretty good. Okay, so now we're gonna do one more camera angle. So we're just gonna add another camera over here. Go into you can press Control B, frame 180. Oh yeah, not in the viewport, hover in the timeline, Control B. Then go into the camera, press the shortcut again. And then for this one, I'm gonna go on the wing. I'm gonna make it cinematic on the wing. Yeah, if there's like no specific object you can aim to, just try and like aim the camera at like relatively the same area. It'll still work and look good. Also, like you don't necessarily have to go 60 frames each one. You can go a little bit shorter. I'm just go like 60 frames so that there's like enough time, like, and there's like enough like amount of footage to like sync the video properly. So if you know what I mean, if that makes sense. So yeah, we're just gonna make another keyframe here, and then 60 frames, 240. Yeah, I think that's a math. I'm gonna go here, move the camera a little bit, aim it back, place another keyframe, and then okay, yeah, and we have a good cinematic. Now you have to do the curve graph. Put this down, put this down, put this up, put this, and then put this up, 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 and then put this down, and then put this down, and then put this down, and there we go. Then we have our last cinematic here, and we have all 4 cinematic, and we have all 4 like cinematics. I think this looks pretty good. You can just reduce the timeline to the amount of frames you have, just like reduce the render time, and then you're gonna switch over to cycles. It might, like, depending on your like device you're using Blender on, it might be more laggy or less laggy, just depending on what you're on. And then what you want to do, you're gonna go to your output, and then make sure that like you click on this button, and you like make a folder where you want to store all of the frames, so like it's organized, and then after you can just like pack all the frames into one video. And that's the way I like to do it. And also, before you render, you can put, like, I usually like to render between 15 and 30 seconds per frame for this type of animation, so you can do that. You can like play around with it. You can click render animation and see what looks good. Alright, so when your animation finishes rendering, it's gonna go into like whatever file you chose, and it's gonna look like this, right? So there's 2 ways you can pack all of the files into one video, and the first way I'm gonna show you is through Blender. So you're gonna do new and general, and you're gonna go up here to the plus, and you're gonna click plus, and then go to video editing, and then video editing again, and then you're gonna click add, and then click image sequence. You're gonna go to wherever the file is rendered. Mine is right here. I'm just gonna select all of them. You can full screen to make it easier. You can hold shift, and if you can't select all of it in one thing, you can hold shift and select, and you can just keep on selecting here if you can't select it all at once. And then you're gonna click add image strip. Right, so now we have our animation here, and then what you're gonna do is you're gonna click on this. You're gonna choose FFmpeg video. You're gonna put it in whatever folder you want. I'm just gonna put it in this one, and then you can click render animation, and then when it renders, it's gonna render it all again, but it's gonna be like way faster this time. If it's an MKV file and like your software or something doesn't like MKV files, you can like convert it to MP4 through website. I like going to this website, and you can just convert it to an MP4. Okay, now I got it. Now I got the entire animation here in an MP4. And another way you can do it is through DaVinci Resolve here, because this is my main editing software. Just gonna go into the file with all the frames. You can do Control A, and then you can just drag this into the media pool here, and it'll just make the animation for you. This is the entire animation we just rendered through Blender. Oh yeah, and before, if it says 24 FPS here, you're just gonna delete that. You're gonna delete this timeline, and then you're gonna right click timelines, create new timeline, uncheck this, go to format, and then you can change this to 30 FPS or whatever FPS that you rendered it in, and you can click create. You can just put it back in, and then it's at 30 FPS there. So now what you're gonna do is you wanna like separate the clips on each cut. So basically you're just gonna find the frame that it changes, when it changes, and then you're gonna go to the frame before that and then cut there, and then you're gonna do that for the whole thing. And also, if you have DaVinci Resolve Pro, you can go to timeline up here and then press detect scene cuts, but I don't, so I can't do that. I don't have the Pro version, so I just gotta do it manually. It shouldn't take that long though. Okay, there. It didn't take me that long, so I don't have that much footage here. So now you're gonna like import your song. You can just like download it from YouTube. You're gonna make sure you're not selected on anything, so you can press M to make like a marker, and then you're just gonna like play the song, and then you're gonna like make a marker on all the beat points so you can like sync it to the song. So you can just play the song and then press M whenever you want to like change the clip, whenever you want to make a cut, right? And then these are kind of your guidelines for like in order to like sync the video to the song here. So I'm just gonna teach you how to make the intro first, right? And then we're gonna get into like the rest of it, and it's pretty easy. So the first thing you just want to do, you just want to like sync here real quick before you add any effects or anything. Also, before you do that, you're gonna like a lot of the time, unless you have like a lot of footage, you're gonna want to like you can like reuse clips. So what I do is you can just create new bin here, rename it clips, and you just can like select all of them and then put them in here, so you can just like reuse them whenever you want, because like you're gonna be trimming them down if you want to like sync it, so you just gotta sync it to the beat markers that you placed right here. Okay, I think that's a pretty good sync there. Just by the way, you should have more clips in this. This is just like an example for the video. I didn't do that much. Okay, so like also what's part of the trend is that like basically the video will go like blurry, and then like when it gets into like the song, like the actual like it'll just go back to normal. So I'm gonna show you how to do that. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna get an adjustment clip up here, right? And then you're gonna go into Fusion. You right click and clip open in Fusion page. Just wait for that to load. Then you're gonna select this, hold shift space, and then search for Mosaic blur. You can click add, and then we have some like blur on there, and you can make it like as blurry or not blurry as you want. So turn like the aliasing up and down. Also do this looks weird. I just keep it on square. And then as for like the first part, like over here at this part here, I like faded out with a blur on my edit here. So I'm gonna show you how to do that. But if you don't want to do that and you only want it to just instantly change back to normal like on the beat, I can show you how to do that too. I'm gonna extend this. So basically when I hit this part, I keyframe the pixel frequency to go up and the aliasing to go up. And then also what I did is I keyframed the blend, which is like how much the effect actually affects the footage, and I keyframe this to just go all the way down. So like when it finishes, it'll just be back to normal. We're gonna have this cool effect here. And also if you don't want that and you just want it to like go back to normal there, you just have to keep the blur on all the way until it reaches this part here. And then once it reaches this part, you just cut off the effect, and then there, like it goes from blurry and then not blurry. And then from here, all you have to do is just cut it and then sync it to the audio, and then you're done basically. So it's not very hard to like edit these. I would say the hardest part is just doing the 3D. Yeah, it's pretty much just doing this effect and then syncing it to the audio. So yeah. Alright, and that is how you make a cards in space edit. This was like the first tutorial ever made, so like I'm sorry if this was like if it was pretty bad. If you're confused, just like leave a comment below. I should be able to like respond to all of the comments. If there's something you noticed I did like wrong, or like if there's like a better way to do something, also leave it down below. It could be a tip for other people and also for me. And yeah, that's how to make a cards in space edit. Bye.